Have you ever wondered how psychologists unravel the mysteries of the human mind? The answer lies in the unique blend of science and art that is the research methods in psychology. These methods are the backbone of psychological exploration, providing the tools and techniques that allow us to delve deep into the human psyche. Imagine psychologists as detectives, and these research methods are their magnifying glasses, microscopes, and forensic kits. They allow us to observe patterns, hypothesize about the whys and hows, and then test these hypotheses in controlled environments. From experiments and surveys to observational studies and case studies, these diverse methods help us understand everything from the simplest behaviors to the most complex mental processes. They help us distinguish between what is common and what is unique, what is cause and what is effect. In essence, these methods are the key that unlocks the door to understanding the intricacies of the human mind.
Picture a detective piecing together clues to solve a mystery. That's a psychologist using the scientific method. So, what is this scientific method? It's a systematic and logical approach to discovering how things in the universe work.
And it's the bedrock of psychological research. Let's break it down. The scientific method starts with observation. Just like a detective, a psychologist watches and listens, collecting data about behavior and mental processes. They might notice patterns or anomalies, sparks of curiosity that ignite the research process. Next comes hypothesis formation. A hypothesis is a proposed explanation for what's been observed, a kind of educated guess. It's like the detective forming a theory about who committed the crime based on the clues they've collected. Then we move on to data collection. This is where the psychologist gathers evidence to test their hypothesis. They could use a variety of methods, from surveys and interviews to experiments and case studies. Think of it as the detective interrogating suspects and gathering alibis. Next, the psychologist analyzes the data. They sift through the information, looking for patterns and connections. This step is crucial as it helps determine whether the evidence supports the hypothesis. It's akin to the detective comparing the suspect's stories to the facts they've gathered. Finally, we have interpretation. The psychologist looks at the results of the analysis and draws conclusions. They consider whether their findings support the hypothesis or if they need to revise their theory. It's like the detective finally cracking the case, but remember, just like a detective's case isn't closed until it's been reviewed, a psychologist's findings aren't accepted until they've been scrutinized by other experts in the field. This is known as peer review, and it's a crucial part of the scientific method. So there you have it. The scientific method is a psychologist's magnifying glass, their fingerprint kit, their trusty notepad. It helps them gather evidence, test theories, and ultimately understand the human mind and behavior. Just like a detective, a psychologist uses the scientific method to uncover the truth about human behavior and mental processes. A carpenter has many tools in his toolbox, and so does a psychologist. Just as a carpenter might reach for a hammer for one job and a saw for another, psychologists utilize a variety of research methods depending on the question they're seeking to answer. These tools of the trade range from experiments and surveys to observational studies and case studies. Experiments are the workhorses of psychological research. Like a sturdy hammer, they're designed to hit the nail on the head, getting straight to the heart of cause and effect relationships. The famed Stanford prison experiment, for instance, used a controlled environment to delve into the psychology of power and authority. Surveys, on the other hand, are a bit like a tape measure. They're used to gauge the breadth and depth of attitudes, opinions, and experiences across large groups of people. Remember the Kinsey reports of the mid-20th century? They used extensive surveys to map out the sexual behaviors and attitudes of thousands of Americans, revolutionizing our understanding of human sexuality. Next, we have observational studies, the hand lens of psychological research. These are all about close examination and detailed description. Think of Jane Goodall's groundbreaking work observing chimpanzees in the wild. Her meticulous observations shed light on primate behavior, social structures, and even emotions. Finally, we have case studies. These are the chisels of the toolbox used for intricate, in-depth exploration of a single individual or event. The haunting case of Phineas Gage, a railroad worker who survived a severe brain injury, is a prime example. His dramatic personality changes after the accident provided early insights into the role of the frontal lobe in personality and behavior. To sum it up, each of these research methods serves a unique purpose. They are the tools psychologists use to dissect, examine, and understand the complexities of the human mind and behavior. Each research method is a tool that a psychologist uses to build a more accurate picture of the human mind. In the world of psychology research, variables and control groups are as important as bricks and mortar in construction. Let's start with variables. These are the factors that can change or vary within an experiment. They're like the ingredients in a recipe. Change one ingredient and you might end up with a different dish. There are two main types of variables, independent and dependent. The independent variable is the one that the researcher has control over and can manipulate. It's the ingredient that the researcher decides to change. The dependent variable, on the other hand, is the outcome or the effect that is measured. It's the dish that comes out of the oven. Then there's the control variable. These are all the factors that the researcher tries to keep constant in order to make a fair comparison. They're like the oven temperature and the baking time in our recipe analogy. Now let's talk about control groups and random assignment. Imagine you're a chef trying out a new cake recipe. You'd want to compare it to the old recipe to see if it's better, right? That's your control group, the group that gives you a baseline to compare with. In psychology research, the control group is the group that does not receive the treatment or intervention. And what about random assignment? Well, that's like picking out of a hat which of your friends will taste the new recipe and which will taste the old one. It's done to ensure that the groups are equivalent at the start of the experiment. So why are these elements so important? Well, they help researchers establish cause and effect relationships. By carefully controlling variables and using random assignment, researchers can be more confident that changes in the dependent variable are due to the manipulation of the independent variable and not some other factor. Just like a chef needs to carefully control the ingredients, oven temperature, and baking time to create a delicious cake, psychologists need to control their variables and use control groups and random assignment to conduct valid and reliable research. Variables and control groups are the building blocks that psychologists use to construct their research. In the world of research, two watchwords are reliability and validity. Let's start with reliability. Picture this, you're an archer. You shoot an arrow at a target. Now, if you're a reliable archer, your arrows will consistently hit around the same spot. That's what reliability is in research, the consistency of a measure. A test is considered reliable if we get the same result repeatedly. It's like using the same recipe over and over again and always getting the same delicious cake. Now let's talk about validity. Validity refers to the extent a test measures what it claims to measure. So, going back to our archery analogy, if you're a valid archer, not only are your arrows consistently hitting the same spot, but they're also hitting the bullseye. It's not enough for a measure to be reliable, it must also be valid. It's like if our cake recipe consistently produces a cake, but it's a chocolate cake when it's supposed to be a vanilla cake, it's reliable but not valid. In psychological research, using reliable and valid measures is crucial. Reliability ensures that the results are consistent and reproducible, while validity ensures that the research is accurately measuring what it is intended to measure. For instance, if you're studying stress levels, you need a measure that consistently gauges stress, reliability, and truly reflects the stress level, not something else like general mood or fatigue, validity. Reliability and validity are the twin pillars of sound research methodology. They ensure that the research findings are not only consistent but also accurate. They're like the compass and map guiding researchers to the truth. Every explorer needs a compass, and in psychology research, that compass is ethics. Now let's imagine you're embarking on a journey into the intricate labyrinth of the human mind. It's a fascinating expedition, but it's also fraught with potential pitfalls. That's where our moral compass, ethics, comes into play. In the realm of psychology, ethical considerations are paramount. They're the rules that guide us, ensuring that our research is both responsible and respectful. These considerations include informed consent, confidentiality, protection from harm, and debriefing. Informed consent is the cornerstone of ethical research. It's the process of informing participants about the nature of the study, the procedures involved, and any potential risks or benefits. It's like giving them a map, showing them the terrain they're about to traverse, and letting them decide if they want to embark on the journey. Confidentiality is another guiding principle. It's the assurance that researchers will not disclose identifiable information about participants to others. It's akin to a secret shared between friends, kept safe and secure. Protection from harm is a commitment to safeguard participants' physical and psychological well-being. Researchers need to weigh the potential benefits of their study against the possible harm to participants. It's like ensuring that our explorers are equipped with the right gear to navigate the labyrinth safely. Debriefing is the process of explaining the purpose and results of the study to the participants after it's over. It's like a post-adventure chat, where explorers can ask questions, express concerns, and get a clearer understanding of the journey they've undertaken. Let's consider some classic psychology experiments to illustrate these ethical considerations. For instance, the well-known Stanford prison experiment raised serious ethical questions about informed consent and protection from harm, while the Milgram obedience study highlighted the importance of debriefing. These examples remind us that while the journey into the human mind is exciting and valuable, it's crucial to ensure that our explorations are guided by ethics, respecting the dignity and well-being of those who participate in our research. Ethics guide psychologists in their exploration of the human mind, ensuring that their research is both responsible and respectful. So, what have we learned about the importance of research methods in psychology? Quite a lot, actually. We've delved into the foundation of psychological research, unraveling the scientific method's intricate dance of observation, hypothesis formation, data collection, analysis, and interpretation. We've explored the diverse tools of the trade, from experiments and surveys to observational studies and case studies. We've constructed the building blocks of research, understanding variables' pivotal role and the significance of random assignment and control groups. We've navigated the moral compass of psychology, touching on ethical considerations like informed consent, confidentiality, and protection from harm. These methods are not just procedures in a textbook, but powerful tools that can unlock the mysteries of the human mind and behavior. They help us critically evaluate research findings and consider the limitations and implications of psychological research. By understanding research methods in psychology, you gain a powerful tool for exploring the fascinating landscape of the human mind. Having understood the power of research methods in psychology, it's now time to put your knowledge into practice. Let's not forget, every research study is a piece of a larger puzzle. Each has its strengths and limitations. It's essential to critically evaluate these findings, taking into account the research design, the sample size, the variables, and the interpretation of results. Ask questions. What could be improved? What other factors could have influenced the results? And remember, the implications of psychological research are vast, influencing everything from therapy techniques to public policies. So, don't stop at understanding. Dive deeper, participate in discussions, explore further resources, and let your curiosity guide you. We invite you to explore the fascinating world of psychological research. Join online forums, read research papers, and engage with your peers. The more you learn, the more you'll understand the intricate tapestry of the human mind. So what are you waiting for? It's time to put on your researcher's hat and start exploring. This is your journey into the heart of psychology. Embrace it. And as we conclude today's exploration into the world of psychological research, remember that your journey doesn't end here. The field of psychology is vast and ever-evolving, with new research, theories, and applications emerging every day. Your curiosity, critical thinking, and engagement can contribute to this dynamic field. And remember, your thoughts and perspectives are valuable. Share them with the world, share and subscribe to our channel to stay updated with our latest content. Join our community of learners, thinkers, and explorers. Comment below with your thoughts, questions, or insights from today's video. What did you find most intriguing? How do you plan to engage further with psychological research? Don't forget, every question you ask, every discussion you participate in, every article you read adds a new thread to your understanding of the human mind. So keep learning, keep questioning. Until next time, remember, the mind is a fascinating place to explore. So put on your researcher's hat and let's continue this journey together.